Good morning, everybody. What's good? What's good? Good morning. Got the boy Truman in here already. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of The Grading Show. Back at it again with episode number 2. So if you guys are watching live, hello, good morning. How are you guys doing? How is everybody's morning going? Today, I actually got a lot of things to talk about today. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be probably a little longer episode than the last episode, so I'm just warning you guys for the ones that watched live or for the ones that also watched after the fact. Today's probably gonna be a little bit of a longer episode. I'm just letting you guys know. But how is everybody doing? Good morning. Let me know how you all are doing. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. How is everybody doing? If you guys are just now stopping by, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you guys share with all your friends. Like I said, I'm trying to spread the show, trying to spread the word, trying to get it around, trying to grow this thing. So make sure you guys share with all your friends on all your social medias. It is much appreciated. But yeah, what's up, everybody? Today is September 20th, 2025. Here on planet Earth, it is 8:34 in the morning. Early as shit. I'm not much of a morning person, so it's early as shit. I'm chilling, game, just waiting for these damn work clothes to dry. Hey, I felt that everybody's going to work. That's crazy. Actually, not everybody's going to work. I think you might be the only person going to work today. It's Saturday, my boy. That's tough. But anyways, hopefully you have a good day. Hopefully it's not too bad for you, because I know it can get pretty hectic on Saturdays. Thankfully, I don't work Saturdays anymore. I can't stand working Saturdays. I'd rather enjoy my weekend. I'd rather get it all done throughout the week. This is the world time. Exactly. Hi, I'm new to your channel. What's up, Thug Cupcake? Welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Good morning. Yeah, hopefully, bro. Yeah, hopefully it ain't that bad, bro. I can't stand Saturdays. I can't. Especially going in the mornings too. Ugh. Like if I was to work a Saturday, that's why I'm so happy that I switched to night shift, because I don't have to work mornings anymore. I don't have to hear any. Because listen, this is the thing. I wouldn't mind coming in the mornings if it was just me there by myself. If I had to come into work in the morning and it was just me by myself, I'd be fine. But it's the fact that we got all them damn people in there, and I can't do that in the morning. I can't. I'd rather sit there and be by myself. I can't do all the people in the morning. But how's everybody doing? Welcome to episode 2 of The Grading Show. I know this is a new thing that I'm doing here on my channel. And just in case you guys did miss the first episode, I kind of just wanted to fill you guys in on what the show is going to be about and what to expect on the show. Since, like I said, this is something different, you know what I mean? And I've never hosted my own show or anything like that. So it's new for a lot of people. Yeah, I was so happy when I had Saturdays off. Hopefully you get Saturdays off again, bro. That's why I'm so glad I have Saturdays off. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, back to about the show. This is new for most people, but just so I can fill you guys in. Welcome to The Grading Show. If you guys don't know, this is going to be a regular weekend talk show every Saturday morning. I'm gonna try to start it around 7:30. Obviously, it's not 7:30. It's more like 8:37, but we're going to try to get that time earlier and earlier so that way I can do it and get it done earlier in the morning. So, but yeah, about the show here, if you guys are a big fan of boxing, horror talk, if you guys like skateboarding, gaming, music, any of that stuff, basically this is going to be the morning show for you. Every Saturday morning I'm going to come on here and we're going to have a list of the topics that I just named, and then we're going to go over some things, and then I'm going to talk to you guys, or I'm going to have you guys come up as well. So if you guys want to come up and speak on the show, you are free to do so. All you got to do is go follow my X account. We are also live over on X right now, so if you guys want to join on X and be able to come up and talk on the show, you guys are more welcome to. And talk about some things, you know what I mean? If you guys want to debate whatever I talked about during the show, at the end of the show, then you can come in, call in, and then we'll talk about it. Hello, Jose. How's everybody doing? What's up, Captain? Bahar, hey, what's up, man? Good morning, everybody. But yeah, so I'll give a chance for everybody to come up here and be able to say what they want to say if you want to. Like I said, if you guys don't know where to find my social medias or my X account, make sure you guys go to the description of my channel, and you'd be able to find it there. All my social medias are there, or anything you need to know really about me is pretty much there in my channel description. So, yeah. Someone's behind you. His name's Tom. I gotta go to my house. It's haunted. It's okay. It's normal. But yeah, so we got lots to get into. Also, so something funny happened during the week since I started the show. So last week, as you guys know, we had the first episode here for the ones that are, always around the show. Appreciate it, my boy Truman, for dropping the X account. So if you guys do want to come up and be able to speak or whatever, go to the X account right there that one of my moderators shared. So yeah, I appreciate it. But for those of you that do want to come up and call, it's gonna be right there. Let's see, we got a lot of people coming in. Thank you all for the likes. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. So yeah, if you guys would like to call in, again, there's the X account. All you guys got to do is join in this space. And if you'd like to come up and say something at the end of the show, you're more than welcome to. Everybody will get a chance to come up and speak. And yeah. All right. Anyways, welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. For those of you that don't know, my name's Grading. I'm pretty much gonna talk about gaming, boxing, all other stuff. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you guys already know what I talk about and stuff like that. So, but for those of you that are new, I just talk about boxing. I do a lot of gaming stuff here on the channel, a lot of tips and guides and stuff like that. So, I talk about most recently horror, skateboarding, and stuff like that. That's just some of the stuff that we do here on the channel. You can ask my boy, Demon Kid down there. He's been on the channel for a little bit now. So also one of my great friends. So I do appreciate you guys for all tuning in. And I have a question for everybody today, okay? I have a question of the day. Question of the day. And I want everybody to answer. You can answer now. You can answer at the end of the show. You can call in and even give me your answer if you would like to do it there. But I do have a question for you people, okay? All right, I have an interesting one. If you guys, and I mean any one of you guys, were to be able to get the chance to make your own scary movie, your own horror movie, if you were to be able to control everything, the direction, the writing, all of the story, where it's going to be filmed, everything, all the characters, if you were to be able to make your own horror story, and it could be a remake of another movie, it could be your own movie, it could even be a little short film. But if you were given the opportunity, and if you were given the budget to make your own horror movie, what would it be about? What would you do? I'm kind of curious. I was thinking about this the other day because I was kind of thinking about, the way that horror movies are released today and the different genres we have, and and I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, man, I wonder what if you were to take somebody that has no idea of how to direct or write or anything like that, but if they were to give their own idea of making their own horror movie, what would they do? So that's what I want to know. I do have my own answer. In fact, I do have a pretty long answer, but I'm gonna give you guys the answer whenever we get into the horror portion of the show. So once we get to the horror portion of the show, I will share my answer, so make sure you guys stay tuned. And yeah. All right, where do we start? All right, so we're going to start with boxing. Canelo versus Crawford. What a banger. I thought that was crazy. Canelo versus Crawford was a very, very entertaining card. I'm not even going to say fight. You know what I mean? Not just a fight alone. The whole card was very entertaining, especially the I really liked the what was the fight before the Canelo and Crawford fight? You had the Vargas fight, right? For the co-main event, you had the Vargas fight. That fight was very entertaining. Fireworks the whole fight. And I mean, since round one started, there was nothing but just haymakers being thrown the whole round, which was crazy. I was like, wow, round one, we're starting this off. So, but no, it was fireworks that whole fight, and I think it was the perfect fight to have leading up to the Canelo versus Crawford fight. You know what I mean? To have such a big fight like that with fireworks going into such another big fight, it was fireworks all night, y'all. It was crazy. It was definitely crazy. But I told you guys, I didn't. My head was telling me Canelo and my heart was telling me Crawford. And I told everybody this. And I was shocked because I'm not going to lie. Leading up to the next, the last couple of hours to the fight, I was really sitting there thinking, I was like, yeah, but Canelo's going to win, isn't he? Like, that's Canelo's going to win. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really seeing Crawford pulling off the win during that moment. You know what I mean? I was sitting here thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, but, maybe Canelo doesn't just got this in the bag. Maybe this is his fight. But since, round one started, and again, I was really, weighing in heavy on Canelo. I was like, okay, yeah, Canelo, he's just, he's throwing more. He seems more, precise. And then as the round, going into round three, and as the rounds, kept going on, you seen Crawford, find his rhythm. He was even, trapping, bringing Canelo into, some of that dead space and just try, it was crazy. It was. But I think that really does show Crawford's skill and how much he has improved in the sport out, since he has started fighting. I remember watching his first fight, and I want to say my first fight of watching him was in 2016. I want to say 2016, somewhere around there. I don't know. But watching his first fight, just to see how far he's come, it's amazing. And even for Canelo, to go in the ring, at his age and still do his thing and still look great, you know what I mean? Yeah, he went in there, he lost that night, but he didn't lose terribly, you know what I mean? It's still Canelo at the end, and at the end of the day. I thought both fighters did great, but Crawford really, really did surprise me, and now that he's champion in these three divisions, it's crazy. It's insane. It is insane. Congrats to Crawford. Congrats to his team. I'm definitely happy that both fighters are okay. That's one thing I like to see after a boxing match is both fighters healthy, okay after the fight and stuff like that. But the fight was very, very amazing. And for those of you that did watch, if you're live or watching after the fact, let me know what you guys thought of the fight. Let me know what your opinions are and who you think is next for both fighters. You know what I mean? Honestly, I think I was talking about this with you guys last week. I was saying how I don't think if Crawford was to win, I don't think there was a rematch clause or anything, but I heard people saying, since Canelo won, they probably will most likely have a rematch. That's probably what's most likely going to go down. Credit goes to Wade Concept. I seen him say it on his live whenever he was watching the fight live. He was saying, if Crawford, I think he made a very good point, if Crawford wins, there's probably more likely for a big chance for a rematch there. But as to, Canelo winning, he'd probably go off into doing something different. I've always wanted to see the rematch personally between him and Beeple. That's just what I want to see. You know what I mean? I don't know why that fight hasn't happened again. But personally, I would love to see a rematch between them. You guys probably think I'm crazy, but that's what I would like to see. But I also seen a lot of people saying if Canelo was to win this fight, what would happen if he was to go on and fight, somebody like Benavidez or whatever. Which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, if Canelo and Crawford were to rematch or whatever, or if Canelo was to continue fighting, I definitely would like to see that fight, regardless of the fact, or anything, whatever you guys want to say. My opinion is I would definitely love to see that fight before Canelo leaves. I would definitely love to see him and Benavidez face off. I think that would definitely be an exciting fight, and I would definitely be there to watch it whenever it happens. I don't care if they're 50, you know what I mean? If we can, let's be honest, if we can all sit here and watch a 6-year-old Mike Tyson get in the ring with Jake Paul, I think we can all watch Canelo versus Benavidez in their 60s. You know what I mean? Because that's just the new prime. I really feel like that's people's new prime time, in their 60s and 80s and stuff. That's just what it seems like. You got people, hopping in the ring in their 80s and shit, and Mike Tyson he didn't do it once, he didn't do it twice, he's doing it for a third time against Mike Tyson. or not Mike. Yeah, Mike Tyson versus Mike Tyson, versus Floyd Mayweather. So, but no, definitely, I would like to see Canelo versus Benavidez. That would be a pretty exciting fight. But as for Crawford, honestly, I'm not really sure where I'd like to see him do next. You know what I mean? Maybe a couple more fights for sure. But for Canelo, I definitely would like to see him do the Benavidez fight for sure. Definitely. I want to see Floyd go back in the ring. Bro, Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson is happening. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm concerned about. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. But it's like you can only weigh that fight so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what's going to happen there. We know what's going to happen. Especially if you've seen the Jake Paul fight. And this is what I said last week. I don't mean to upset people when I say this either. I'm not trying to upset anybody or anything, but I said it last week. If a 50-year-old Mike Tyson can't get through Jake Paul, y'all really think he's going to be able to get through Floyd? Y'all really think he's going to be able to get in there and, play toe-to-toe with Floyd? I mean, maybe. Maybe. Who knows? He might have that, what's that stuff called from the Marvel Universe? That stuff that they inject themselves with. The super serum. He could have super serum. Who knows? He could. Yeah, we know what's going to happen. Sadly, Tyson's my GOAT, but I don't know about that. Yeah, that is true. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. And honestly, I don't even know. I said this last week, too. I'm not going to talk about it too much today, but I talked about it last week in the last episode. I really don't know why this fight's happening. I really don't know why. I'm honestly sad to see this fight to be able to get sanctioned in the first place. That's what I'm sad about. That this fight even got sanctioned in the first place, and why is it getting sanctioned? I don't know. I feel like personally, Floyd's gonna make money though. You know what I mean? They're making money, so they ain't gonna stop. It's all about the money. That's what it is. It's the payday. It sucks to see, but that's what it is. It's the payday. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? My thoughts for I've seen last week a lot of people were saying after the Misfits fight, or the week before that, a lot of people were saying after the Misfits fight, after the Tony Ferguson and Salt Poppy fight, because we haven't heard much or seen much from Anisong Gibb in the Misfits world yet. He came, he fought Slim, put on an amazing performance there, but after that we really haven't seen him return, and there hasn't been any big talks. I'm pretty sure Fred Beck, if you guys know who Fred Beck is, did an interview with his manager this week, over the week or whatever, and even he was like, there's not much planned right now, for Gibb to go back, but Gibb is always aiming to go back into the ring, so eventually we'll probably see him. But one fight that a lot of people are talking about seeing with Gibb is Tony Ferguson, obviously after he beat Salt Poppy in a shocking, crazy way. I gang on my head out, be safe, bro. All right, see you later, Truman. Have a good day at work. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I appreciate it for stopping by the way. And just hanging out with us. But back to what I was saying, Anisong Gibb versus Tony Ferguson. I think if we are gonna see Gibb return, because I'm pretty sure he does have the Misfits Misfits male middleweight champion belt. I think that's what he has. I think he does have the main belt. So, and Ferguson, like he said, hey, he wants to keep coming back to Misfits and keep fighting. I think somebody mentioned Gibb to him, and he was like, I don't know who the hell that Gibb is, but bring him to me and I'll fight him. Let's do it. He said he wants to return. So honestly, I think that would be an exciting fight. That's a fight that I would want to see. Anisong Gibb versus Tony Ferguson. As you guys know, I'm a very, 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 very big Anisong Gibb fan. For the people that are, been around the channel, I'm a very big Anisong Gibb fan. So, I would definitely love to see that fight. I think that is a good fight to make for Misfits. That could even be its own, fight too. That could be its own main card, its own card. You can make a card off of just that fight, Tony Ferguson versus Gibb. You know what I mean? You have the MMA fans, and then you have a big, load of the influencer fans coming into one. I feel like that would be an exciting main event to see. I feel like you'd have a lot of viewers that would pay to see that. a Nissan Gibb versus Tony Ferguson. For winners though, I don't know. You know what I mean? Listen, Tony Ferguson, he came in and he took on Salt Poppy for his first boxing match, which, a lot of you are probably going to say, oh, Salt Poppy, he's a TikToker, he's a YouTube, it don't really matter. Of course, Tony Ferguson was going to walk. No matter what you guys want to say, Salt Poppy is a very seasoned influencer fighter, you know what I mean? He's top of his game. He's always training. Rather you guys, if you don't want to give him the credit or not, you know what I mean? He works his ass off, and he is a good fighter for, for how old he is, and whenever he started, he's a very good fighter. So it is what it is. But I would definitely love to see Gibb versus Ferguson. I think that's a very good stylistic fight too. I think it's a very good fight to make. I think you'd have a lot of eyes on that fight. And honestly, I think it would look a lot. I feel like out of all the fights, I'd probably look like the most professional fight. Tony Ferguson versus a Nissan Gibb. But like I said, you could even grow that. You could make a whole card off of just that fight and just have that be the main event. You know what I mean? And you don't even have to put a lot of cards on that event to sell either, I'm pretty sure. You got Tony Ferguson and Nissan Gibb right there. What more do you got to sell? So I think it does good. I think Misfits should definitely look into it. I think the small council should definitely consider ordering that fight for Misfits. Not just because I would want to see it, but just because I think it makes sense. You know what I mean? I really think it does for Gibb and Tony Ferguson. I think it does. I think it's a next step. I think it's a good challenge for Gibb too, just like it was for Salt Poppy. He caught Salt Poppy off guard. So, I'll always have Gibb's back, but maybe Ferguson does surprise Gibb with something. Maybe he does bring something that Gibb's never seen before. All right. Let's talk about it. I wanted to start this portion off in the beginning of this subject, the portion of this of the show, but I didn't. But I did want to give a quick my quick prayers and thoughts for Ricky Hatton, who sadly passed away over the week. I just wanted to say rest in peace to Ricky Hatton. If you guys don't know who Ricky Hatton was, he was a professional boxer. He fought the likes of Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, so he's definitely, up there as belongs in one of our greats. He passed away this week, I believe at 47. I want to say passed away at 47, which honestly I thought he was a little older, and it was kind of sad to hear that he passed away, pretty young. So I did want to say rest in peace to professional boxer Ricky Hatton. Prayers go out to his family and everybody else that was around him. And yeah, but just wanted to give this time for part of this episode for Ricky Hatton. Let's see, what do we got next? Small creator boxing. We got a lot of small creator boxing events coming up. We got Breakout. You got Get Back. You got a lot of small creator boxing events coming in right now. I know how I have my two of my good friends and two of my team members from Team Ghost. I'm gonna be fighting soon. Shout out to Kingston Vanishing and my boy Intrepid, who's going to be fighting soon on 2 cards coming up. So if you guys don't follow the small creator boxing scene, if you guys don't know what it is, I'll just give you guys a gist, because I feel like a lot of people don't know about the small creator boxing scene when it comes to small creator boxing. But small creator boxing is basically a boxing league for small creators like me and other small creators out there that are just beginning to grow their channel, but obviously can't get on big promotions to get fights that they want. So they usually start off at what we call a small creator boxing, where a group of us, we have our own promotions where we put together small creator boxing cards, where we take small creators from the scene, and we host boxing events with them. And so far for the last 3 years, it's been doing very, very good. I'm a big fan of it, and as I haven't personally competed yet myself, I definitely am going to do a match coming up within the next 3 years or so. So make sure you guys stay tuned, because I definitely will be having a boxing match. I promise y'all. So yeah, moving on to boxing. We've been here long enough. Let's go ahead and get into gaming. Go ahead and start our gaming topic. So for people that are fans of gaming, this is definitely the portion of the episode that I would stay for. Xbox fans now have Helldivers 2, which I think is very exciting. I have not yet played Helldivers 2. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, but since it's now on Xbox and they have the the new cosmetics with the Halo 3 crossover are coming in. I think I'm definitely gonna pick it up and play. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a lot of good things about Helldivers. I see people play it on Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. If I'm just scrolling and I see some people play it, and it definitely looks like a fun game. Last episode I talked about, people are getting, bored, the same games that they're playing, because I've been having this problem recently where just every game that I play now, it's just for some reason boring, or just every game is just over exhausting to me, or it's just overwhelming. So I think it's very good for us to hop into different game genres and try something new. So Helldivers is definitely a new game that I'm going to be trying this week, probably, since it's now on Xbox. Even though I've had PlayStation right here, but big fan of Halo, so probably going to jump in and get those cosmetics and play with a couple of friends maybe. But I want to know, if you're an Xbox fan, what you think about it. If you're excited, if you're going to be playing, are you a fan of Helldivers? Were you waiting for it to come to Xbox? Are you excited for all the new crossovers that are coming between Xbox and PlayStation and stuff like that, now that we're getting, exclusive games? Hopefully Xbox gets Spider-Man one day. That's what I hope. Hopefully Xbox players do get to experience Spider-Man, because that game is amazing. But yeah, if you're an Xbox fan, if you're live right now, tell me what you think down below in the comments if you're watching after the fact about Helldivers 2 being on Xbox, and if you're going to be playing this weekend, and what you think about it. Let me know down in the comment section down below if you're watching live, if you want to let me know. But yeah, I'm definitely probably going to be picking up and playing. Like I said, I haven't played Helldivers 2 yet. I've been meaning to jump into it, but, I've been busy with a lot of things. Becoming a dad. Been busy with a lot of things. So, yeah. This, I want to say, when was it that this came out? I want to say it was yesterday that they released the Black Ops 7 roadmap, for the release. I was supposed to have it on here. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up real quick, because they had all the dates announced now for Black Ops 7 in its beta. All right, yeah, so we have it right here. So September 22nd, we're supposed to have the multiplayer reveal trailer. September 24th, we'll get the zombies reveal trailer, which I'm very excited for. I'm a very big fan of the zombies side of things, so definitely going to be watching for that. We got COD next and the COD Bowl also on September 30th. So if you guys are a fan of the Call of Duty, of watching Call of Duty next and, getting all your information from there, September 30th is when it will be live, also with the Code Bowl. The Warzone series of the World Series of Warzone Global Finals will take place October 1st. So for any of you guys that are wanting to compete, or for any of you guys that are wanting to watch the event, it's going to be live October 1st for the Warzone Global Final. And then finally, the early access beta and the open beta. The early access beta starts October 2nd and will last through October 5th. Your regular open beta for people free to play is going to start October 5th and it's going to end October 8th. So a lot of people, so we got a longer beta time for this game than Black Ops 6. So that's exciting. Let me know what you guys think of the roadmap finally being announced for Black Ops 7. Like I said, we talked about it last episode, I think, with the whole Battlefield versus Black Ops thing, or Black Ops 7. Personally, I'm not going to be pre-ordering the game. I'm just going to play it free on Game Pass this time. I usually pre-order most Call of Duties, but this year, I'm finally putting a hold to it. I'm not pre-ordering no more, so I'll be able to play it for free. But I guess I'm excited, not too much, but, it is exciting to see, Call of Duty fans get their roadmap released to know when they're going to be able to play the new game in the franchise. And if you're excited for it, I'm happy for you. If you're not, it sucks. We're on the same page there. But yeah, let me know in the comments. And if you're watching after the fact, let me know what you think about the Black Ops 7 roadmap release and what you think. Next, we have Borderlands 4, which launched September 12th. I can't remember. I don't know if that, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if that came out before the last episode did or after it, but I didn't talk about it. So Borderlands 4 just released and had a rocky release, I guess you could say. Like I said, that's another game that I haven't played yet, just haven't pre-ordered it, but I am going to be playing and making some guide videos on it, so stay tuned for that. But Borderlands 4, I seen it had a rocky release. I seen some gameplay of it. I even seen people play it early whenever some creators were able to play it early. And I like what I will say is I like a lot of the new features that they have. Like one thing I like now is because whenever I started playing Borderlands, which is not too long ago when I want to say when Borderlands 3 came out was when I first got into the franchise, when I started getting into the Borderlands franchise. But I remember before where it's like you had this one thing with the vehicles where it's like if you wanted a vehicle, you had to go all the way back to your spawn location and spawn your vehicle in. Well, now you have this new feature where you can spawn it in by yourself. You can spawn it in anywhere you want from around your map, which I like. You know what I mean? But what's your thoughts on Borderlands 4? Like I said, I've seen a couple of gameplay clips. I've seen some people play. I've seen a couple of reviews. Seen people, not so happy with it. I've seen other people say, that they enjoy it. Just a little, couple problems here and there. But I have not personally played it yet, so I can't give my own personal thoughts or opinion on it. But from what I have seen, I definitely can't tell you it had a rocky release. Not too terrible, but it definitely was not the best launch that they could have had. I think they had their first update, what was it, last night that they had their first update. So if you are a Borderlands fan or if you are playing Borderlands this weekend, you guys did have an update last night. So there's that. I heard they fixed a lot of the bugs that went into the launch of the game and a lot of the glitches. So if you're experiencing that, I believe on PC first, I think PC people get the update first. Sad. I'm sad. I'm a console player, so but I haven't played the game yet, so it has nothing to do with me. But if you are a console player, sorry, I guess. But yeah, y'all did have y'all's first update. So hopefully, the game's running a little smoother now. Hopefully, whatever problems there were at launch, they were able to fix it. And hopefully, the game's more playable now. But yeah, I've just seen a lot of rocky reviews. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of people say, it's just, I don't know. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's what to expect from gaming now. That's what I expect with every game that's released. Every game that gets launched now is gonna have a rocky release. You know what I mean? You hear it with every game that gets released now. So it's sad, but it is what it is. But I've seen a lot of people say, they don't like the fact that it looks more and more like a looter shooter every time the game, progresses. Like, you had Borderlands 3 and now you got Borderlands 4 and it's just becoming more of a looter shooter. I don't know what to say about that. Like I said, I haven't jumped into Borderlands 4. But I definitely can't tell you from playing Borderlands 1 and going into Borderlands 3, you definitely feel a big difference, obviously. Not with just the hardware and what you're working with, but with what the game becomes, you know what I mean? You can definitely feel the difference. It's in the air, you can tell. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Borderlands 4 launch and if you guys will be playing, or if you have been playing. Like I said, I have not played personally myself yet, so I can't give my personal review. But once I do play it, I'll come in here and I'll give an updated review about it or what I think about it. And of course, I'm going to be doing guide videos on Borderlands 4. So if you guys are interested in that, stay tuned to my channel because we will have a bunch of those being released within the next couple of months. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Moving on, we're going to move on to the skateboarding side of things and also kind of gaming too at the same time because the official Skate has released. The official new Skate game has released, which I'm excited for. I played it only probably a handful of times now already. And I like it. It's fun. I can get in and I can get on and enjoy. Of course, I don't have that old feeling of I don't have that feeling of what I used to get from the old Skate games. But that's okay. It feels more of like it's going to be just a Fortnite on skateboards. Fortnite on skateboards is what it feels like it's gonna be. But no, let me know what y'all's thoughts are on the new Skate game coming out. Like I said, I played it a handful of times, and I'm playing it, and as I don't think it's the best skateboarding game I've ever played. It's like I said, skateboarding, so there's only so much you can do with it. But so far, I have been enjoying it. Like I said, I have been enjoying it. I haven't been playing much of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater in the last couple of weeks, so getting on this game was definitely a refresher for me. It was a new style of skating, so it was good for me to hop on and play and stuff like that. And just my review of it. I like it. You know what I mean? There's only so much I can say so far because it's still an early access, which means, you know what I mean, they just started off with the game. You know what I mean? This is not even the full released game yet. You know what I mean? This is just, you know, what they were cooking up and what they wanted to bring to us first, just so we could. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Olivia. What's up? Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, no, but for the time that I've got on and played, it's really fun. I like it. I like the graphics on there. I like it also because I've been playing a lot of the older skate games as well. And whenever I go to do tricks on there, like especially when I go do the kickflip, anytime I go to do a kickflip on any of the older skate games, I always end up doing an ollie. I don't know if it's because of the system's used to using the Xbox, is used to the 360 sensitivity or what it is, but I'm so glad that I can actually get on this skate and hit my tricks with perfection and how I want to do them. So yeah, I do like that aspect of the game, and so far, like I said, I am enjoying it. We are in early access. There's only so much I could say. But what I would like to see come into the game for the future is, you know, I know we have the skate shop around, you know, the world of that we're in. I just wanted to drop in and say I love you and keep up the good work. I appreciate it. I love you and thank you for stopping by. But for things that I would like to see, you know, like I said, I know we have the new we have the skate shops around the. I forgot what the map is called, but we have the skate shops around the map. But it seems like they're gonna use those as like, that's why I said Fortnite on skateboards, because it looks like they're gonna use those almost as like a new item shop. Which, if they are gonna do that, I mean, okay, do what you want to do. And I mean, it's not my game. I'm not making it, so. And I didn't pay for it. Like I said, this is a free game, so this time I'm not really gonna complain too much because it's a free game. I didn't pay for it, so. Maybe this is the only way that they're gonna get their money is through this store. So I don't know, but what I want to suggest and what I want to see in the future, if this is how they're going to do things, if they are gonna, you know, release cosmetics or, you know, do, you know, whatever. If you're gonna do collaborations, don't give us collaborations that don't have nothing to do with skateboarding, please. If you're going to give us collaborations or cosmetics, if you're gonna do things like that, collab with like other skateboarders or skateboarding companies to bring in cosmetics. Don't go and bring in Ninja Turtle skins and Beavis and Butthead, and I don't want to see Peter Griffin on a skateboard. That's not what I want to do. If that's what you want to do, you can go play on Skate 3 with mods, but I'm not trying to skate around as Peter Griffin and, you know, trip and fall and run into, I don't know, fucking Mr. Krabs. That's not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to play a skateboarding game. I'm not trying to run into Mr. Krabs. So if they are going to do that, I say stick to the formula and the theme of skateboarding. You know what I mean? If they are going to do it this way, that's how they don't mess this up. Stay with the theme of skateboarding, and if, like I said, if they're going to do the whole, you know, item shop theme with the skate shops, then I think, like I said, they should stick, if they are going to stick to that, stick to only that. Don't bring us other paid things that we got to pay for like other games. Stick to just that. Stick to just a skate shop. That's the only place I want to spend any money on, or any in-game money on, is a skate shop. I don't want to have to go into the PlayStation. I don't want to have to do all that. Please don't do that. And a couple of things I'd like to see is, I guess, like, you know, mini community events, you know what I mean? They could do, like, something that I think would also be cool, because it's more of, like, an open world online game, is they could add, like, even holiday events, you know what I mean? Like how Grand Theft Auto 5 does with Christmas, how they add the snow and stuff like that. And, you know, how Halloween, you know, they have, like, the pumpkins around, or, you know, they can design the city, you know what I mean, as the theme of the holiday. And then even, you know, they could have, like, a weekly challenges for that week of the holiday, you know what I mean? So where you can get, like, free rewards for your, you know, your skateboard or your skater. I think that would be pretty cool to see, honestly. If they were to add, you know, like, little community events like that, or little holiday events like that, and just, keep updating the world, you know what I mean? Don't keep it that same boring map. Maybe if you keep adding to it, add new locations, maybe new skate parks, new skate spots, just do something. Keep updating the world. Keep us on our toes, you know what I mean? Because if you have us, you know what I mean? Because the map is not too small, but it's smaller than what I expected, so with a map like that, that is a map where it's like if you are going to keep, you know, people on that small map just skating around, you know. What's up, the best? I'm pretty sure you stopped by last time. What's up, man? Good morning. How are you doing today? I appreciate you for stopping by. Right now we're talking about the new skate game again. Because it finally, you know, the early access finally came out, and last week it didn't came out, so that's why I'm talking about it now and my thoughts of it and everything. Blah 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 blah. So, but like I said, if they are going to keep us in this small map, update it, keep us on our toes, keep adding things new. You know what I mean? Don't keep it stale. You know what I mean? And that's what I hope it doesn't do. I hope it's just not a stale game that's just based around money. But it's made by EA and it's a free game, so what I'm telling you is, what I'm saying, don't expect it. Another thing I will say is, one thing I like about the skate game is I can actually get into the game and, like I said, hit a kickflip. And I don't mean just in the game, I mean in real life too, because I can't hit a kickflip in real life for shit still, which is sad. You know what I mean? I can, it sucks though, because it's like I can do everything leading up to landing it. I can flip the board. I know the footwork for it. But whenever it comes to landing it, I can never do it. It's not like I don't land with 1 foot off. No, whenever I go to do a kickflip, I'll jump, the board it flips, and then for some reason my body forward. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my balance or what it is, or if it's the way my feet are built, because I have, weird built feet. I'm not gonna show you my feet because that's gonna be weird, but I have weird built feet, so probably that's what it is. I don't know, but I thought you shaved your hair off, then I saw it was just pull. Yeah, a lot of people do. It's because I pull it back so tight though. I got a lot of people that at work and shit that say that to me. Like I'll come in because I wear a hat to work too, so when I come in, I completely look like shaved, and they're like, "Did you cut your hair?" And I'm like, "No, it's just pulled back." And they're like, "Damn, you had that shit so pulled back so tight." Maybe that's why I get a headache sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, because of how tight I have it pulled back. I don't know, but yeah, no, it's not shaved. I'm not gonna shave it for a little while, but yeah, no, the kickflip though, it's I don't know, I can never land it, and for somebody that's invented it, maybe I gotta go to Rodney Mullen or something, and then that's what I'm telling you. I think if I was to spend a weekend with Rodney Mullen where he just taught me how to do a kickflip like that whole week, I think I would get it. I think I would 100% learn how to do it. For sure. That's what I need. If anybody has any contact to Rodney Mullen, let me know, because maybe, you know what I mean, maybe if we ask him, he's going to fly all the way to Florida and come here and help me learn a kickflip. That's what he's going to do, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, that's what he's going to do. But I don't know, like I said, I still can't hit it to this day, so the fact that I can go into a skateboarding game and hit it virtually makes me feel good somewhere inside. I'm not going to lie. Just because I can't hit it in real life. But we're going to get there one day, you know what I mean? And until then, I'll just keep hitting pop shove-its. It is what it is. But, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of the kickflip. For the ones of you that can skateboard and, that do skateboard, what do you guys think of the kickflip? Can you guys do a kickflip? If so, share. Maybe you guys have some tips for me, because like I said, I can't hit a kickflip. Whenever I get a new skateboard, that's definitely going to be the thing that I try to do again, is to hit a kickflip. And I'm going to try, I don't care if it takes me 7 years, literally 7 years, because I heard, if you guys don't know who the rapper Lil Wayne is, he was talking about, if you guys don't know who Lil Wayne is, he also skateboards, and he was talking about it on a podcast with, on Hawk, I want to say it was on Hawk versus Wolf, I think, on the Tony Hawk podcast. Lil Wayne was on there, and he was talking about how it's like, he 7 years ago, because, he did a lot of vert skating. He's more considered what you would call a vert skater. You have a vert skater, then you have street skaters. But Lil Wayne's more of what you would call of a vert skater when he first started out. But, he tried to learn the kickflip, and it's been 7 years since he started, and still hasn't learned. And it's just scary for me, because I'm 22, going on 22 now, and I still can't hit a kickflip. And it's took him 7 years, and Lil Wayne, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be biased. Lil Wayne is definitely 100% a better skater than me. How the can he still not hit a kickflip? Maybe he can now. I know that episode of Hawk versus Wolf aired a while ago, so maybe he can now. I don't know. Maybe I'll see after this episode. After this episode is done, I'll probably go and see look at some clips of Lil Wayne skateboarding. Maybe we'll see if he can hit a kickflip now. Because, like I said, 7 years to start and then still not know how to do a kickflip. That's just the scary part to me, because it's like, damn, it takes that long. I'll just stick to doing fucking pop shove-its. You know what I mean? Or I'll just stick to vert skating at that point. Like, I don't know. 7 years is crazy. It's just to perfect one trick. But that's mainly what skateboarding is. You're going to sit there for a lot of hours just to complete one single trick. And we enjoy doing it. So, but it's okay. The next thing I want to talk about, horror. Now listen, last week, what I want to talk about is, I know last week I talked about the new Camp Crystal Lake series that's going to be about Friday the 13th, and it's going to be basically like a prequel to the first Friday the 13th movie. If you guys didn't tune in last week, I gave my thoughts on it, and after giving my thoughts, I rewatched what I said, and then I went and watched another horror channel. Shout out to Dave McCrae. I was watching the Dave McCrae show, and I was listening to him talk about it, and he was like, I think this could really actually be good for the series. You know what I mean? Going in as a prequel and as a show, because there's so much that you could do for the Friday the 13th series besides just a couple of camp counselors in a camp with Jason killing people. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much you can do with that. And honestly, I do agree with that. I do agree that there is so much more that you could do with the Friday the 13th series. There's so much more to explore. There's so much more to add. There's so much more you could take, it. And I think I didn't give a fair take on it. So I kind of want to give a retake on the Camp Crystal series and what I think about it, and some of the things that I would probably like to see introduced into it. I've been watching over the week with my fiance, because she's never watched any horror movies like that, or like any old slashers, like any of the 80s slashers. So I'm watching a lot of the 80s slashers with her. So right now we're watching Friday the 13th. So I've been watching a lot of Friday the 13th. But I guess a couple of things that I was concerned about, and what I guess I'm still kind of concerned about, is a lot of people back then saw, like a lot of the diehard fans, they were okay with Friday the 13th Part 1. It's one of my favorite Jason movies, or one of my Friday movies, one of my favorite ones. A lot of their concerns about that one was it didn't have Jason in it. It was Pamela. It was his mother, which I don't have a problem with Pamela. You know what I mean? I get the whole motive of the story, and just like Dave McCrae said on his show, Pamela is the whole reason why Jason exists. Not literally, not physically, but her dying, him seeing her die and that happening to her, that's why Jason is the way he is. That's why we have the Jason that we have, is because of that reason. And, I do agree with that 100%. But I guess a lot of my concern comes from, a lot of the people that are not big Friday the 13th fans, but are just horror fans, coming in as newer audience saying, oh, well, we want Jason. Pamela is boring. That's what a lot of people said back then after, seeing a lot of Jason, and then going back and watching the first Friday is, well, who is this woman? You know what I mean? And she's boring, and, there's no story. But I listened to Dave McCrae, and I listened to it from his perspective. During the Friday the 13th Part 1, you barely knew who the killer was. You didn't know who it was. People don't know if it was, Jason just already starting to kill, or who, nobody really knew until at the end of the movie we found out who it was. It was this woman, Pamela Voorhees, who had her son, Jason Voorhees, drowned. So then it kind of all began to make sense, right? Well, one thing I guess where it could work is we had Pamela we didn't have her that long at the end of that movie. We only had her on screen for 15 minutes. We didn't get to know a lot about her, as a person, or how she came to be, or why she started killing. Because, we know she did it for revenge, but we don't know what made her really snap. Because before this, I guess we can assume that she was a regular woman, right? We didn't know what Pamela Voorhees did before then. We didn't know she was a regular woman. But I guess now this probably does give us a chance to go in and learn about Pamela before the events, and learn about Jason before the events. You know what I mean? As I did see a couple of updates about the show, they finally did found somebody to cast young Jason. So that means we will have Jason, of some sort in the show. So I guess that is exciting. to see. I don't know if he would be dead. Like I said, I don't know when they're gonna, shoot the show or what timeline they're gonna do. I don't know if it's gonna take place after Jason's drowned or a little bit before Jason drowns. My theory is it's going to like take place a little bit before Jason drowns, and then there's gonna be like a little time jump maybe, and then it jumps in like a couple months later maybe. Where we see what happens after he drowned and how Pamela begins to go down this, road of a, serial killer. Maybe we get to see her, slowly, turn into this killer, kind of like, maybe like a Dexter from Original Sin. We've seen him, slowly how he became and went down this dark road. Maybe we see how, the death of her child affected her and, how it made her go down this dark path. So that's what I am excited to see, and I guess where it could work. And one thing I will say for the prequel series is I guess it is a good idea going into it as well because we haven't had Jason since 2009. And like I said last episode, I didn't really like that movie, and that movie did terrible at the box office. You know what I mean? That movie didn't perform good at all. And I seen Dave McCrae say it's because it was the same thing. You took Jason Voorhees, you added him into a camp with a couple of teenagers, and he just killed people. I mean, if that's what you want to see, cool. But to a newer audience, and this is one thing, one thing with the movie industries and all the shows in gaming, I guess with everything really is they're always going to try to appease to the new fans. They're always going to try to bring in the newer fans, the newer fan base, and they're always going to try to please them. You know, to the regular fans that are just a fan of it, you're going to be there regardless. You're going to show up to watch it or to show up to play it regardless. They don't really care about you. They know you're a fan, but they're trying to bring in this newer audience. And I think a prequel show is a good place to start. There's a lot that you can show and explain, and especially, doing this show for a newer audience, they can watch this show and then immediately watch, Friday the 13th Part 1 after, and then just watch all the movies, and, it can make sense from there. I feel like that's, somewhat of a good way to bring the newer audience, the newer goer audience into Friday the 13th. And then maybe after Friday the 13th show, the Camp Crystal show wraps up, you can make a Jason movie. Since you have all the newer people there, they watched the show, then they watched all the original movies, so now they get a better understanding of Jason and how it works. Maybe it would be time to release a movie about Jason. Then maybe you can do that and try to explore something new with his character. Don't throw him back into Camp Crystal Lake. I'm not saying you got to take him to Manhattan or Chicago or Dubai, but I'm saying do something different with him. Do something different. That's all I gotta say. But I do like the Camp Crystal idea a little bit more that I think about it. It comes off also more as like maybe it doesn't in a way, but I think it's the closest thing that we get to it. It kind of reminds me of like an anthology series, which is something that I've always wanted, recently, especially from the Halloween franchise. I've always wanted an anthology series because that's what that originally was supposed to be, right? Halloween 3 with Season of the Witch, that's what that was supposed to spin into, was a whole, anthology series. That was supposed to be its own thing. They were supposed to tell a different story every Halloween movie that took place on Halloween nights, just a newer thing. Sadly, it didn't work out back then because, back in the 80s, it was nothing but slashers. That's all that was around. And, when you tried that back then in the 80s with an anthology series, it didn't really work. It didn't resonate with the media so well. And because, there wasn't, social media back then and all that stuff, a lot of people expected to see Michael in that movie. And, when they went to go see it, Michael wasn't in the movie. So it, maybe it rubbed a lot of, movie goers and fans wrong. So I understand it. But that is something that I would like to see revisited today because I think that is something that we need right now. And definitely in the Halloween franchise because, I feel like the Halloween franchise out of all of them has just gone on for so long, and I would really love to see something new instead of just Michael Myers keep coming back and coming back and coming. Like, I love Michael, don't get me wrong, but it's like at some point we need something fresh. Like, you know what I mean? So even if Halloween did, like I said, an anthology series now, I feel like it'd be good. You know what I mean? I feel like they could try that in this new day and age. You know what I mean? A lot of people, you know what I mean, need a break from Michael, and I think that would be great to have an anthology series. Man, you could base it, you know, even in Haddonfield and just tell different stories. You know what I mean? You can tell one story for one season, the next season tell another story. You know what I mean? You can, there's so much you could do with an anthology series, in my opinion, and I would love to do one. So yeah. Moving on from things. Speaking of slashers and stuff like that, one thing I wanted to talk about, and I've seen Dave McCrae talk about it as well on his show, and that's the problem with slashers these days. And I was just talking about it. I think that's what this conversation is going to roll into, is the problem of slashers. You know, slashers did so well in the 80s, but now it's fallen off into this, and I do see it. You know, I mean, you have these movies, you know, by Blumhouse and all these other movies. A movie that I recently watched that was a very good horror movie is Talk to Me, and I seen Raka Raka also like have their own new movie that they released too. So I gotta watch that because Talk to Me was really good. But you know, going into this newer genre, people like something new. You know, I mean, they like it when you try something new. They like it when you bring something new to the table. They want to be surprised, and I feel like with slashers, everybody watches slasher. You know what I mean? Everybody's watched it. Everybody knows about Michael, Jason, you know, whatever, Freddy versus, you know, we all know about that. And I think that's where slashers become maybe too overplayed now, or maybe it's just, you know, people want something new. I think it's where Art the Clown comes in, because that's what I want to talk about in this episode. And maybe this is a hot take, but I don't consider, maybe you can consider his character a slasher, but I don't consider the Terrifier franchise a slasher. And this is the reason why I don't think I'm not the biggest fan of Terrifier, but my fiance is, and you know, she's made me watch, you know, a lot of the movies, and from what I can tell, it seems it focuses more, and Dave McCrae said it again too, it focuses more on trying to surprise the audience and keeping them on their toes, and how brutal and bloody and crazy and shocking can they make the movie. And I feel like that's exactly what that movie is. You know, how bloody and shocking can they make it? It's not a regular slasher, you know what I mean, where, you know, the character has a motive. I don't think Art the Clown even has a motive to kill. I think he just goes around and just fucking does what he does. I don't know what he is, or if he's a human or whatnot, but that's, you know what I mean, he does what he does. I don't think he compares to other slashers like Michael or Jason, or, you know what I mean, I'm not saying versus each other, but I'm just saying, you know, surviving in this genre. I definitely think Art the Clown does do better in this, you know, genre in this day and age, because of the audience it attracts. You know what I mean? The slasher audience, or the slasher movies, can only attract so much people. You know what I mean? It's only going to attract the fans, and it's only going to attract, you know, some new moviegoers who've heard about Michael Myers and say, oh, you know, Michael, okay, let's jump in, let's watch him. That's the only people it's really going to attract. But when you bring something like Art the Clown, that's just so gory and shocking, I think that's where you begin to somewhat separate them. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, but you know what, I guess what I could say is, go watch Halloween. No, you know what, don't go watch Halloween. Go watch Halloween 2. Halloween 2, the original one, 1981, and watch the first Terrifier movie that came out in 2016. Watch Halloween 2 and then watch Terrifier first, and you'll see exactly what I mean. It's, you know what I mean? Of course, it's going to be completely different, but you'll know what I mean once you watch it. You know what I mean? So just check it out. Let me know what you guys think of it. Yeah. I guess we can get to the question of the day. And the question of the day was, if you guys were to make your own horror movie, and if you were to be able to write, direct, whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? If you were given the budget to make your own horror movie, what would it be about? What would you do? You know what I mean? I told you, you could do a remake of a movie. You know, you could do your own take on a movie, or you could make your own movie, something fresh, something new. And I have my own answer. And it's probably going to be a little bit of a shocking one. It's probably going to be like, oh, why? Why would you do that? But if I was to be able to, if I had my own budget and I had my own camera crew, and, you know, I had some time to write my own story, I think I would do a continuation of I think it's a 4-part horror short film, No Through Road. I would continue it, and I would do my own part 5. If you guys don't know what No Through Road is, go look it up on YouTube. It's a 4-part short series that came out in 2009 and ended in 2012. It's a very good horror short film, and I think it is one of the best horror short films that came out of the early 2000s. I think it is the best, hands down, short film I've ever seen on YouTube. Which is crazy because it's so low budget. But that's where I say, like, if you try something new and you do something that's low budget and you give somebody the opportunity to do something new and their own idea, that's where the magic comes from. Like, you know what I mean? You get to see that person's, that time they spent, that art. You know what I mean? It's that's what it is. It's art. It is. It's talent. And I feel like that's where you do get a lot of those, golden movies and stuff like that. But if I had the opportunity to make my own horror movie, I would do No Through Road Part 5, and I would make it my own. Which actually I'm doing right now. I am going to be writing my own script for No Through Roads Part 5. Obviously, I don't know if it's ever going to get filmed. Or if I'm ever going to make it, or if it's ever going to turn into anything. But I want to write my own script, and I want to share it with you guys. So I thought about it. I was like, instead of having my take on this, why don't I write my own script and then share it with you guys one day in a video? So if that is something that you guys would like to see, let me know down in the comments if you're watching live, or even after the fact. Let me know down there. And, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll share a video where I have a whole script of No Through Roads Part 5, and I can share with you guys and read it, and then I can get y'all's thoughts, and then we can talk about it. But yeah, if I was given the chance, I would do No Through Road 5. I would write it myself. I would continue the story. I would also end the story. I would pick it back up and then end it. 'Cause I feel like last time, like I said, if you guys haven't watched No Through Roads, I'd highly suggest you go watch it so you don't think I'm a crazy person and don't know what I'm talking about. So if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, go watch No Through Road. But I feel like at that last part, it left off on a cliffhanger, and you didn't really understand too much of what's going on. You're just kind of puzzling, and you just had to piece it together. But if I was to make my own No Through Roads Part 5, I would pick up the story. I would explain enough to where I guess the regular viewer who doesn't, follow horror, or just a regular viewer who just watches just to click, I would make the story more understandable for them to be understood. Like, I would kind of, I guess, answer a couple of questions of what we had from, the last couple of chapters. But I wouldn't answer too much because I feel like you still have to have that, like, that curiosity still there. You still got to have that, what is going on? Like, what's really going on? You still got to have that. So I think that's what I would do. I would pick it up. Don't explain too much. Don't answer too many questions, but just enough questions to where you're like, okay, all right, that makes a little sense. Okay, this makes sense. But it's still to where the point to where it's like, oh, but why did this happen? How did that happen? How, you know what I mean? I would still give that mystery to it. And then I think I would also just end it off. You know what I mean? I would end it off there at chapter 5, and I wouldn't continue it anymore. I think that I would find a very perfect way to end it and to stop it right there. That's what I would do with my own No Through Roads Part 5, which I've always wanted to see, by the way. It would be nice to get a No Through Roads Part 5. I know we probably never, ever will. But it is sad because I feel like that short film really resonated with a lot of people back then, and I feel like it did a lot for YouTube horror than the creators think. And you know what I mean? I don't know where the creators are today, but if they are around, I would love for them to come back and maybe not do a part. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they had to come back and do a chapter 5, but maybe pay a homage to what they did. Pay a homage to the short film. You know what I mean? Do something for it. Pay tribute to it. Maybe do like an hour stream where you just talk about it and, the making of it and what it took to make and how it was. You know what I mean? That was so long ago. There's so much you can explain there. There's so much you can, you know what I mean? So I think that's what I would do with, if I was given the chance to write my own horror short story. And I'm going to write not too much of a long script, but a short, brief script of what I would do with it. And I will do a separate video, not on like the show or anything, but I'm gonna do a separate video on where I read the whole script out, and then maybe you guys can give me your input and tell me what you guys think of it. So yeah. Anyways, if you guys are also just now stopping by. If you guys did not know, the show is sponsored by Backfire boards. We got sorry, I forgot a lot of my sponsors. Just because I haven't been on here a while. Rogue Energy, GG bracelets, Miller Boxing. Go into the description if you guys don't know what code it is. It's Ghost for all discounts. I'm pretty sure you get like 5% off for the code for all the websites. But yeah, use code Ghost for 5% off on all the product. Make sure you guys go to my channel description to see the code and to see all the sponsors. If you want to pick up some gear, we got a lot of good stuff on the shops. And if you want to pick up it for a reasonable price, use that discount code Ghost4. It helps my team out a lot. It helps me out a lot. So I appreciate you guys. But it seems like I am going to start wrapping it up. I do appreciate you guys. I do appreciate you guys for coming out today and listening. I hope you guys have an amazing morning. And for those of you that are new, please, you know what I mean, you don't have to subscribe, but maybe stay tuned, stick around, you know what I mean? Maybe you might like the show. Maybe, you know, we'll start talking about more things that you like. You know what I mean? If you want to give me some tips or maybe some things that you would like to see me talk about in the comments, let me know. You know what I mean? Let me know what you would like to see me talk about on the show. You know what I mean? Just let me know. And, I'll see what I can do. Make a couple of suggestions. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys for coming out. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of y'all's morning. I'm probably going to go and I want to go back to bed, if I'm being honest with you guys. I'm really tired. But it's been a real one with you guys. Thank you for stopping by for the, episode 2 of the grading show. The grading show. So before we leave, actually, I want to tell you guys, I don't know if I explained this earlier. So I was on YouTube during the week, and Deji posted a video, and it was the Deji show, and I was like, there is no way. And the first thing I thought was like, oh my god, he stole my idea. But then I was like, wait a minute, I can't say that. Deji doesn't even know. Deji, this dude's never seen my channel. He's never watched my video. So he didn't steal my idea. But we had the same idea, and I thought it was funny going into it, because I was like, oh man, that's so funny. Like, he started his show. You know what I mean? I started my show a couple of days ago. It's so funny. Like, I wonder if I'll get people in my comments that try to say that I copied him or whatever. But because of the fact that I do want to have eventually guests on the show, I want to bring other influencers up. Maybe we can talk to them. And, I definitely want to have people come up to where, they can talk and stuff like that. It's also why I do the show over on X as well. For the people that are listening on X, also do it over there as well. So if you do want to come up and talk and say anything, I have it there for anybody. So yeah, folks, but I think that's about it. Like I said, if you would like to see any updates on the show or updates on when we're going to go live, or if you just want to see more about me, go to my channel description. All my social medias are there. Remember also all the sponsors are there. Code Ghost4 for 5% off. And yeah, like I said, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. It means a lot, and we will catch you guys in episode 3 or next time I see you guys, because I could stream possibly during this week. I don't know yet, but yeah, I'll see you guys whenever I see you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by for episode 2. I hope you guys have an amazing day. And yeah, other than that, hope y'all have a good rest of y'all's morning, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We are signing off. This has been The Grading Show. Thank you for stopping by. See how oh, there we go, y'all.